What's up, my friends? Welcome back to Pantry Preparedness, and today we're going to be processing some grapes. See, it's about the end of summer, which means these things are ripe and ready for juicing. So what we're going to do is we're going to get them all cut out and put through our steamer so that we can put some grape juice in our food storage. Now, we have a ton of green grapes, and they actually all come from this one grape plant. See, we had tenants in this house for almost a decade, and they didn't do the best job trimming up all the grape plants that we had spread out here. We had one in between each of these posts, but as this one overshadowed the rest, this is the only one that's left. Granted, we get a ton of grapes out of it, so I have a hard time justifying ripping it out and replacing it with smaller plants like this one when we get such incredible results out of the one we currently have. They're a juicing grape, but still, they are plenty good just straight up on their own. So they're now sweet enough that we can get these picked, get them cleaned up, and put them through our steamer so that we can save some grape juice for the future. So today I'm going to walk you through that process, start to finish, show you how the steamer works, and show you just how much fun it can be. I love doing this as a kid with my family, so we're wanting to pass that on to the next generation. And it's actually quite a rewarding process because at the end we are left with a ton of grape juice. Let me show you what I mean. Can you put that in the basket? Put it in. I got more for you. Uh-oh. Here you go. You're welcome. Go and put those in the basket. There you go. You're welcome. Not yet. You got a lot left. You know it's time to start harvesting when you're fighting the bees for the best grapes. They can tell when it's nice and sweet, and they come in swarms when it's time to harvest. Another dead giveaway is the fermented grape smell that you get from all the ones that have fallen on the ground. But I've got a full basket here. This is my mobile garden strainer, aka a laundry basket, and it works great for being able to carry in a ton and also being able to give them a quick rinse before they come in the house, because my wife is not a big fan of spiders for whatever reason, and we just saw a monster climbing up on the side of there. So let's try to get all those spiders rinsed out and take it in the house. Oh, there he is. Whoa, he's all over the place. There's some itty bitty ones on here too. See, those are the ones my wife's real concerned about. Last thing she wants to do is eat one. Picking grapes will take a little bit of bravery, especially if you don't like insects. Sometimes the best bushels are right under a big old insect, but you know what? Sometimes you just gotta risk it. Even after getting 3 laundry baskets worth of grapes, there are still a ton left. But let's juice what we got. Maybe come back for more next weekend. Now I like to do a second rinse on these where I take off a lot of the dead grapes, and a lot of the ones that I missed just kind of float up to the top of the water here. But I do cut off some of these thicker stems. I don't worry about taking all the stems off. See, plenty of people do, but I feel that's unnecessary. We've been doing it a long time like this and never had a complaint about the taste. You'll see all the little debris just floats to the top, and I can strain that out real quick so it doesn't end up going into the bath. All right, looking pretty good. Now I'm going to put this colander full of grapes on top of this juicer. Now there's boiling water down here in the bottom that comes up through these grapes And once I put this lid on, contain all that heat, and over time, the juice from the grapes is going to come down into this container and then fill into this hose. And then we're going to put this hose into a mason jar, let it fill up. Come back in a couple hours and see what juice we got. First batch of grapes is all cooked down, so I'm going to pull this out. I have this little tote here that I'm going to throw the remnants in. And then I'll head back over to the sink, load up the colander with another batch, and get it started again. Camera's recording. On camera.
I wasn't.
It is day 2 of juicing, and we've made a nice little dent in the pile of grapes that we had earlier. And so far from our juicing yesterday, we have 18 quarts. Now you'll notice there's a bit of a difference in color between these. I put these two side by side to show. This jar is from the first batch that we steamed, and this is actually the first juice that came out of it. This one next to it is the last juice that came out of that very same batch. Same grapes, but this is the very last of what came out of the steamer. Now, when you reload the colander, I recommend filling this as much as possible because A, they're going to decompress as they steam, and B, if you can save yourself another batch, that's going to save yourself 3 or 4 hours in the long run. So really load this thing up as much as will fit under the lid. This process was taking a while, so we decided to call in reinforcements, and we got my mom's steamer, the one that I was raised using. Might still be the original drain line. It's looking pretty old, but works like a champ. Now we're able to double up how many we can do at one given time. Now, growing up, we always used these Ball brand jars. They work great, have measurements on the side. But when my wife was at Walmart to go get us some more, there were these Walmart brand ones that were quite a bit less expensive. By Walmart brand, I mean Mainstay. I think it was about $3 less per dozen. So we decided to give them a try, but we didn't have the best of luck. 2 out of the dozen actually cracked due to the heat of the juice coming out of the steamer. Never had that issue with a Ball or a Care jar. So take that into consideration. Now we are just about done canning. We have 49 quarts finished and one batch that is just finishing up. It's almost there. So I estimate we'll probably have 52, 53 by the time we're all said and done. Now when you're all done juicing, make sure to look for floaties. Every once in a while a few seeds make it through the strainer. What we'll want to do is open this can, filter that out because it can rot and ruin the juice. So we'll get that filtered and get it sealed. Now our next step is to actually finish canning or pasteurizing these quarts that we have here. Now growing up we didn't do this step because they all tend to seal on their own. See, when we press these lids, we're not hearing any noise. But every so often, We get one that doesn't quite seal from the hot liquid coming in. And I was reading that you can actually have some issues with E. coli or salmonella, I believe, if these aren't pasteurized before putting them into storage. So I've got a giant stock pot over here that we have at a low simmer. And we are going to set the jars in here, give them about 5 minutes to get up to temperature, and then pull them out. And by then, they'll be pasteurized as well as canned, meaning that it's sealed at the top, keeping any bacteria from getting in there. Now I've got this rubber flower looking thing that we're actually going to put the quartz on, keeping the glass off the metal to keep the temperature from getting too hot on the bottom of those cans. Now you'll want to do this while the jars are still hot. If they did manage to cool down between when you juiced them and when you're putting it in the pot, you can warm it back up either in warm tub water, or using a blow dryer. But you don't want them to be cold because otherwise the hot water from the pot can shatter the glass, leaving you with wasted juice and glass all over your pot. Now we'll leave those in there for just a few minutes, come back and pull them out. And now for the final step, which is to sit back, relax, and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Till next time, this has been Jake with Pantry Prep.